Hello everyone, welcome to this module on quick guide to specifications of the hardware and software components of a computer. What's all about? We want you to be able to identify those components and specifications, as well as what these specifications mean. I'll be co-presenting with Dr. Michael Ahove. Michael, you're welcome.
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
sir.
I think we should have a word first from our Vice Chancellor.
Very important.
Very important. So, Vice Chancellor, over to you.
I want to join Professor Peter Okebukola and Dr. Mike Ahove in welcoming our participants to the first module on quick guide to the hardware and software components of your computer. At the end of the day, we intend to build the capacity of our participants to be able to handle their computer very well in transiting to the next exciting modules that we'll be offering. Once again, I welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chancellor. So let us take a quick dive into this module. Quick guide to the specifications of hardware and software components of your computer. Why do you need this lesson? I think we need this lesson for a host of reasons, and we'll give you three of them. First, Mr. Vice Chancellor says, let's all run a largely paperless university. It means we'll be going about with our laptops, handheld devices, and using our desktops in our offices. Now, knowing what your companion can and cannot do, we believe is important. Second, I assume you are appointed Vice Chancellor of another university, head of department, or executive secretary, or director general, and your people say, look, Oga, buy us some computers, buy us some laptops. You should be able to show some measure of understanding of how the computer works and the specifications that you can offer. Then, in the gathering of scholars, we want our professors not to sound ignorant and clueless in providing simple description of what the computers, their laptops can do. We don't want to look like a mugu or like a mumu. For instance, you are told in a conference or in a training program that you should press any key to start. And you, the mumu, are saying, oh, gentleman, somebody or lady sitting beside you, please show me where this any key, what the key written any that is there. That's by way of a joke. So what are the objectives of this lesson? We want you to be able to differentiate between the different types of computers when you complete this lesson. There are some families of computers we want you to be able to identify. We want you to be able to list the common brands of computers in the Nigerian market. In other words, you have several brands for you to be able to maybe appreciate the strengths and weaknesses of the different brands. The heart of the matter in this lesson is for you to determine the hardware and software specifications of your computer and be able to know what each of these components can do, the attributes and capabilities. And last thing, we want you to be able to do a 2-page report on the hardware and software components of the computer that you are using to take this course. That will confirm to us that you have learned what we think you should learn. What will this lesson not do? This lesson will not turn you into a computer expert overnight. But we'll give you another good news. We'll let you have some other tracks if you are interested in deepening your understanding, your knowledge of computing. We teach advanced courses in computer science education. So we'll be able to share with you some of these skills that you can pick up as some advanced track in this course. So a student said to a teacher, because the teacher we want the student to learn chemistry, biology, all the topics, all the subjects in computer. Sir, if a single teacher cannot teach us, you, Mr. Teacher, cannot teach us all the subjects, how can you then expect us to learn all the subjects? That's an unfair word. Ooh. So let's begin. Objective number 1 is about types of computers. Now I'm going to do on the matter of pronunciation. I'm not going to call it, and I want to entreat you also not to say computer. That will end up spitting on my face. So I'd like you to call it as if there is an I inserted between the P and the U. So you say computer rather than computer. And also, the American will say computer. I don't want that. I'm going to use British pronunciation and British spelling. So it's going to be computer. I have a way of actually checking the pronunciation and some meanings of words which I have on my desktop. Now let's go there. I'll see this. So this is my dictionary, and I'm going to let it pronounce this.
Computer. Computer.
Oh, it's rather low in the terms of voice. Let me see whether I can make this.
Computer. Computer.
Yes, as if there's an either. So let's continue with our lesson. And come with me to the computer village in Lagos. You know, we're looking at types of computers. So you can see all manner of things there, all manner of things. What manner of things? You'll see this is one of the shops where you have also all manner of things. Now, we used to learn that you have digital computer, you have analog computer, we have hybrid computer, as in between these two, or a combination of these two. Microcomputer, mainframe, supercomputer, mini computer, and all of that. And you go to Computer Village and you find all of this there. So the object here for this segment of the lesson is to be able to name them. So if you are confronted with this, how will you name them? First, let's begin with the giant there, the supercomputer. Now, you will not find this in Computer Village. You actually find this in data centers, you know, usually outside town, where you have these huge machines. And when you come to cloud computing, which we mentioned in one of the advanced tracks, you'll be able to see that these are, you know, wonderful machines. So we said we're going to put labels to diagrams or to the figures. So you have the microcomputer, mini computer, personal computer as a desktop, supercomputer we mentioned earlier, the laptop, I'm sure this is what you're using now, and the tablet. You have your iPad, iPod, these are those categories. So to end, let's look at the ones we'll be commonly using. So this is the desktop computer, which you find in all the offices in LASU. The laptop is what I'm sure you use it. They have the netbook, the small size of this. Also, you have notebook, you have the hybrid computer, you have the tablet, you have the smartphone. You can access this lesson, by the way, using your smartphone. So that's the end of objective number 1. So there you are with the different types of computers. Now, Dr. Mike, you told us about 2 different types at the start. So how many types can you now identify?
Well, I can identify 6 types of computers. We have the supercomputers, we have the notebook, we have the desktop, we have the laptop, we have the net computers, and we have the tablets.
Okay, fine. By the way, it's netbook.
Netbook,
very good. So, Michael, well done.
Thank you.
Now, let's look at the families of computers. Michael, what are the families of computers that you can identify or describe?
Families?
Yes, families. We will, in the next session, look at the 2 main families of computers. Now that brings us to the end of objective number 1. We'll take on now objective number 2, which is about families of computers. We're talking about the family. Here's a family. The lady of the house said, "Dear, this computer is not working according to my command." Of course, it's used to commanding all over the house. Oh, the husband chuckled and said, "Oh, darling, it's a computer, not a husband." So, by way of a joke. There are 2 main families of the computer. The Macintosh, Mac for short, and the PC. Both of them have their dedicated followers. And I've used the 2 types of machines, or the 2 families, and I found each of them to have great strength and also weaknesses. The manufacturer of the Mac is Apple Computers. But you see, the PC is manufactured by several other companies. The major difference being that the machine that uses the Windows operating system is typically known as the PC. And the one that uses the iOS, the Apple operating system, is the Mac. You can easily differentiate them. Now, which one is better? That's a question that keeps arising. I've used the Mac, as I said. I've used the PC. You can always note the Mac with this Apple with some little bite out of it. So I'm not able to tell you right away because I don't want to get into the fight between the Mac lovers and the PC lovers. But I tell you, as I said earlier, they have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. So the taste of the pudding is, of course, in the eating. Buy one Mac and see how it goes. Buy a PC and see how it goes. But I tell you something, Macs are quite light. Macs are quite very friendly. But you see, the PC I have some inclination toward because several of the programs that I use are not available in the Mac edition. We also find that the volume of people using Mac is increasing by the day. In the US, many people use Mac. In Nigeria, many people use PC. So you got to decide whether you want to have a machine that people around you use in terms of parts replacement and maintenance and all of that. So that's all I can say here. You can note the Mac, as I said, with this logo, this Apple logo with little bite out of it. So I'm sure you have seen this kind of machine before. These are the laptop type, MacBook Air. And then the desktop of Mac looks like this, very slim keyboard and highly friendly. For the PC, of course, if you went to the computer village, you say you want to buy a computer, they will show you the Acer, HCL, the Dell, the Lenovo, IBM, Sony Vaio, LG, all of this. By the way, I have all of the brands that I've indicated here. I've used them one time or the other. So that is the end of objective number 2.
Now we know about the two families of computers. Now, Dr. Mike Ahobe, now what are the two families of computers?
We have Mac and the PC.
Mac and the PC. We shall now be narrowing to the PC, and we'll be looking at laptops within the PC family. How many laptops have we got here, Dr. Mike?
We have 7 laptops.
We have 7 laptops, yeah. Are they of the same screen sizes?
No.
No. Can you arrange them in the sequence from the smallest screen to the largest screen?
This is the smallest, followed by this, and this one, and finally this.
Yes, this is your computer. This is a laptop, yes, and the rest are mine. I know the screen sizes here. Dr. Mike, what's the size of the screen of a laptop?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, very well. I like the color, by the way. Now, we're going to learn how you can determine the size of the screen of your computer. So to get the size of a screen, all you need is a tape measure. The sizes are usually measured in inches. So with a tape measure, you will, let's determine the size of this my Toshiba, the size of the screen of my Toshiba. Michael, we're measuring screen size from one end of the screen diagonally across to here. Not from here, but from where the screen starts. So you run your tape diagonally across like this. Yeah, so what do we have?
We have here 15.5 inch.
Yeah, so this is a 15.5 inch laptop computer. That's as easy as that. Let us take on, this is a Toshiba. Let's take on my HP notebook. And then let's determine the screen size. So what are we going to do?
I'm going to
measure from here all the way down to here, to where this thing is. So what is it?
11 inch.
11 inch. This is an 11 inch notebook. So can you see from here? Can you see? HP, now really, what?
HP Pavilion Touch Smart 11
notebook PC. So you can see, we talked about in an earlier session, we talked about the notebook. This one is a notebook. Now this one is a netbook. You can see it's smaller than the notebook. And these other bigger ones are laptops. Now, this is your machine, Mike. Can you determine the screen size of your Dell computer laptop with us?
Yes, sir. Start from here. I run it diagonally to this point. I have 15-inch.
Yeah, so Michael has a 15-inch laptop computer. Close it.
Thank you, sir.
Recall that you said when you were arranging this,
Yes, sir.
that this one is before your own.
Yes, sir.
Have you changed your mind?
I think so. I think so.
You think so? Okay, that's fine. So that's how you determine the screen size of your computer. I'm sure you are not able to know how to determine the screen size of your computer. So, Dr. Mike, what is next?
Yeah, the next thing is I would like to know how to determine the hard drive capacity, the processor, the memory, and the operating system of my laptop.
Yeah, that's very easy. I'll give you a short demonstration of how you can determine all of this. Now, before we proceed, it is helpful for us to look at the units of measurement in computing. And we keep hearing about kilobytes, megabytes, and all of these bytes, which show the amount of space that your data has occupied in the storage system. We want to be able to know the correct order, which one is smallest and which one is the largest, so that you can then decide which one is going to be more suitable, or if like more suitable for your use. We begin with the smallest bit. See, the computer stores in a series of ones and zeros. So that's the smallest. And bit comes from binary digit. B from here and IT from here. So bit. It is like this, taking a small bit out of it. That's the way it is stored. See, the computer doesn't understand anything other than ones and zeros. Let's move on to byte. If you have 8 bits, you end up with a byte. So you can see we talked about ones and zeros. So 1 bit, 2 bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one is a byte. 8 bits make a byte. As you can see here, this is a bit and this is the byte. So if you type on your keyboard a letter P, like Peter, just P, it's going to come up with this, a byte. If you type O, like Okebukola, it's also going to come up with this. That's a byte. Now let's look at the multiples of bytes. By the way, these prefixes, if you like, kilobit, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, you also use for other units like gigahertz, kilohertz, and all of that. So this is generic treatment for all the points we'd like you to note. So the kilobyte is 1,000 bytes. Kilo, 1,000. The megabyte is 1,000 kilobytes. The gigabyte, by the way, is sometimes called gigabyte, but I don't like the gigabyte thing. I like to call it gigabyte. The gigabyte, that's my own idiosyncratic way of calling it. And that's common too. So the gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. The terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. The petabyte is 1,000 terabyte. The exabyte is 1,000 petabyte. The zettabyte is 1,000 exabyte. And of course, the yottabyte is 1,000 of this. Now, if you look on the right, you find that it is in the binary unit. It's actually not exactly 1,000. You have this 10, 24, like that. But don't bother about this. Just note the generic way of the labeling. So let me give you a few examples. Now, if you answer yes or no in a computer, then that's a bit. So it's just one unit of entry. Now, if you have a line of text from a book or a line of text in an article you have written, if you check the volume of space that has occupied, it's about 90 bytes. Now, a whole page of text, a whole page of your in an article, maybe double line spaced, one A4 size space, about 4 kilobytes, and you have an image, it's about 1 megabyte. It sounds about it. So all of these are some examples of sizes. Now, it's been predicted that the volume of the entire internet this year is about 1.3. What is ZB again? Not Zebudaya. ZB is zettabyte. So you now have all these storage devices, hard drives, flash drives, and the disk for your camera or any of your handheld devices. So you're able to know that, oh, this is 32 gigabytes, this is 1 terabyte, this is, what is it now? Like 32 gigabytes. So you're able to know the difference. Now back to Dr. Mike. Before we take on that short practical session, let me give you some theoretical background to all of this. And we'll be looking at four things. We're going to be looking at the theory relating to the memory, the theory relating to the hard drive, to the processor, and to the operating system. Let's begin with the memory. The memory, somebody asks you, what is the memory capacity of your computer? What the person actually means is to know the capacity of the random access memory, RAM for short. Is this one? No. Is this little thing that's inside your computer? That's the RAM. And what is RAM? RAM is the storage area where the programs that you are running at a particular time are stored temporarily. If you, for instance, you are using Microsoft Word, it's open, PowerPoint is open, SPSS is open, one or two other programs are open, they are all being used within the random access memory. And I can liken it to having a bedroom where you are putting all your luggage and things, and then your sitting room. If you want to see bring out the luggage from the bedroom, which is like your hard disk, then if the size of your sitting room is small, then the amount of volume of luggage that you can put out in the sitting room will be limited. So if you have small RAM, then the chances that your computer will be slow when you are running a program will be quite high. So let me confuse you a little bit. No, not confuse. To go a little bit advanced. You have two types of RAM. You have the one that is dynamic random access memory, DRAM for short. Then the static one. Now, the DRAM is the more common one. The SRAM is not so common, but the SRAM is better because the DRAM needs to be, refreshed several thousand times per second. But the SRAM does not need to be refreshed at all. For the two of them, the RAM, as soon as they take light, as soon as power goes off, and you have not saved what you have done back to your hard drive or to any other storage device like flash drive, then the thing is gone, completely gone, because the thing is, you can see, is volatile. So let's go on to the kind of specification that I believe you'll find good for your RAM. So you go to the computer village and you want to buy a computer, and they said to you what the memory. Say the memory is 2 gig. That's 2 gigabytes. Oh, fine. Can serve a purpose. Or 4 gigabytes, meaning it's double 2 gigabytes. But for me, I would like an 8 gigabyte RAM. It serves because I can keep several programs running at the same time, and the thing will be quite happy because that sitting room in quotes now is bigger. Now the 16 gigabyte RAM or more, you see, there's a logic here. It does not mean that after getting 8 to 16, 32 and all of that will be, there's a limit. But I don't want to bug you with that computers relating to, but by 8 gig, you are good to go. Let's move to the second one. That's the hard disk drive, or something is coming up, the solid state drive. So the hard disk drive is this thing that you say, oh, hard disk, don't crash. Meaning that your operating system, your files, and everything that you have stored in there will have crashed. I hope not. So let's see what the thing looks like. If you yank open the hard disk drive, you're going to see something like this. You're going to see if you go to see is the platter and the read write head. That's how the thing works. And when you hear inside your computer, when you are saving or when the thing is powered on, that is what is making the noise. Except, of course, you have the cooling fan. That's HDD. So in your laptop, you see the thing here. Make you no open the the back, except you have some technique of or you have expertise in doing this. So that's where you have the hard drive located just under the base there. Which one is good in terms of the specification for a hard drive? Recall that this module is about quick guide to specifications of hard drive, of hardware and software. So what is good specification for your hard drive? Me think that a 500 gigabyte hard drive, not too bad if you are not storing so much like me. I store quite a lot of files, audio, video, my lesson files, all manner of things. So I'm quite happy to run a 1 terabyte hard drive, but this is not also sufficient for me because I need more capacity for my hard drive. So what I do is to get an external hard drive. I actually need almost like about 6 or 7 terabytes. So I get an external hard drive where for now I'm using a 3 terabyte hard drive where I back up my data. So let's go on to the solid state drive. Solid state drive, because it hasn't got any moving part. If you look at the left here, this is the hard disk drive where this platter and this read write head. But this is the SSD. Nothing is moving there. Cool as cucumber. If you drop it, if you drop this one, you can crash this. If you drop this one, nothing is going to happen. And while this one will move, making some noise while it is reading and writing, this one has nothing to move. So that's one advantage of this. But you see, between this man and this one, the price, not be small thing. No. This is quite expensive. So let's look at good solid state drive specification. This machine, I have quite a lot of these ThinkPads, but this one is running. It has about 252 gigabyte. The 500 gigabyte is there, but it's a lot more expensive. And I think this is the height. This is the top of the range now. The SSD technology for laptops, still evolving. I'm looking for a terabyte of SSD, but it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, and I'm not ready to part with those for now. Anytime though. So let's look at the combined. You see, some machines combine the two, hybrid. You have both SSD and HDD. So like this Lenovo has 128 gigabytes SSD and a terabyte hard drive. So what you normally would do, or what's preferable, is to store your operating system and your programs in the SSD. So the thing is really cool. No noise making, nothing. And this one has you put out some other files there. So what about we're now the third one at 3 out of 4, the processor. That's the heart of the matter. That's what processes your instructions and drives the computer. Well, called CPU before, but it's generally now the processor. This is where it is. It's located right in here, and it's cooled. There, we talk about families of computers, Mac and PC, if you recall. Now, we have several families of processor manufacturers. The two that I'm going to be focusing on will be the Intel and the AMD. Intel, you see Intel inside, and the AMD. So these are some processors from Intel and AMD. This AMD Athlon X2, and you have the Intel Core 2 Duo, Intel Pentium 4, Intel Core i5, Intel Core i7. You no need to look at this thing. All you need to do is if you check the box or some part of your computer, you find something Intel inside, and it will tell you what the specification of the processor is like. Now, let us look at some specifications for Intel, because Intel is, in my view, the more common of AMD and Intel. So let's begin from the bottom, the Atom processor. The Atom processor is really the one that usually drives the netbook. These are small notebooks, well, not a notebook, smaller than the notebook. It's a netbook used mainly for surfing the internet. So you can see that let's see now, the clock speed. I like you to look at clock speed. That's the speed of processing by the processor, the speed at which it processes the instruction. So in other words, the Atom family has this Atom. It processes at 800 megahertz, a range, megahertz. You can see we're not talking about we're not talking about bytes again. We're talking about hertz. This is another unit, megahertz, gigahertz. That's how the clock speed, the speed at which the thing turns around in terms of processing. I've just put it very simply, more complicated than that. So you now have the Celeron family. Celeron family, you have Celeron MD, Celeron, and they go like this. So you go to Ikeja, the computer village, and they sell you one machine for 60,000 naira, and they sell another one for 80,000 naira, and you then check that, oh, this one is running an Intel processor, that's why it's cheaper than the other one that's more expensive, running, for instance, a Pentium 4 processor. A Pentium processor. This is the Pentium family. You can see mobile Pentium 4, Pentium 4. Yeah, let's go from bottom to up now. We have the other members of the Pentium family all the way down like this. And then you have the Core Solo, you have the Core Duo, Core Quad, and all of that, and all of that. And now we have the Core family also has, I've not included them on this list. We have Core i3, Core i5, Core i7, and you have Core i7 Extreme. So you can see the clock speed, 3.20 gigahertz. This one is running 2.66 to 2.93 gigahertz. Now, this machine that we have, you're going to see in a minute when we do the practical, that this is the clock speed. So what are you going to be watching out for? You're going to be watching out for the clock speed and the clock speed essentially. So the processor, because it's really busy running when it's operational, it needs some cooling fan. Now that takes me to this man who now had to, he finds that he's working his computer so hard, processor is working so hard that he needed to get more cooling. Oh, madam of the house then said, oh, I believe that your CPU needs extra cooling. But my friend, can I have just a little bit more space for food in the generator? On this note, let's move on to the last one, the operating system for PCs. By the way, if I'm going at too fast a pace, you can stop this video anytime, rewind it, start from the beginning, or go to the middle, or do anything. All you need to do is just click on any part of the video, and you get the control at the bottom, and you can manipulate it. So you can watch the video for 10 hours, for 10 minutes, for whatever. So back to the operating system for PCs. I'm not going to look at previous Windows. We said that for PCs it's Windows operated, but for Mac it's Mac iOS. So I'm looking at Windows, the latest Windows 7, fairly old now, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and I put this in red because that's my preference, Windows 10. I'm sure that many of you still use some of this. No problem with that so long as it is working for you. Now, let's now run the practical. How do we get all of these specifications on a laptop? So let's get on with the practicals. There are 3 easy steps. When you have started your computer, it comes with this kind of screen. By the way, what have I done? You can't see any of my programs here because I have. If you right click on your desktop, right click like this, and you look at view, you find that you can see show desktop icons is not shown. Now I can click on this and it will show these desktop icons, but let me hide them. So let me click it again. I say view and I say don't show. So that's what we have. So to get the specifications of this, my wonderful ThinkPad, you can. There are several pathways to it. You can click on the Windows icon. Now, if I click on the Windows icon, because I'm using Windows 10, it comes up with this. The thing is about the same. for Windows 7, for Windows 8, 8.1, the same. So I'm clicking on Windows Explorer. I'm going to repeat this exercise twice. You can always get this from any of your Windows operating system. And you always see what we call My Computer. So long as you are able to locate My Computer, then you can get the specifications from it. And all you need to do, two things. I said first step is this one. Second step is for you to get to your My Computer. This equivalent, this one here, is equivalent to My Computer on the other Windows operating system. So you right-click on this, right-click the mouse, and it comes up with this dialog box. Come down, come down, come down, come down. And then you go to properties. You want to check the properties of your laptop. So it gives you this answer. It's telling me that the operating system is Windows 10 Home. It's telling me that the processor that is driving this machine is Intel Core i7. You can see i7 there. By the way, I'm going to expand this, copy this screen and expand it so that we can see it properly. And this is the speed, the clock speed, 2.6, 2.59. The memory, installed memory, that's the random access memory, as we talked about earlier, is 8 gigabytes, 7.8 gigabytes usable. The system type, 64-bit operating system. This is the computer name. So that's all we can do on this. The second is, recall that we right-clicked on this My Computer or this PC. This time, we are going to double-click on it to find out the specification of the hard drive. It's telling me, you can actually see from here, it's telling me that I have 48.2 gigabytes free of 237 gigabytes. To see more, you can also right-click on this and look for properties. It will now show you some graphical design here, but for Windows 10, this is how it comes up with. But in others, it shows like a pie chart. Here, it's telling me what you told me before. I have total of 237 gigabytes. That's the capacity of this hard drive. I've used up 188. I have 48.2 left. I'm using a solid state drive, which is quite expensive but quite efficient. So that is how we can get this. I said I will repeat it the second time. So let me repeat it a second time. Now this time, I'm going to let you view my desktop icons. So these are desktop icons. Sometimes you find My Computer that is here, but I don't have mine here. So all I need to do is to, actually if you can see here, this. So long as you're able to get this file explorer up and running, you are good to go on knowing the specifications of your machine. So this My Computer is called this PC. I go slowly now. Two things you will do. First of all, right-click on it, go down to Properties, and then it will give you the operating system. That's the software operating system that we have here. The operating system is a software. And then it will give you the processor. It will give you the memory. You recall that we did 4 things. The RAM, which is here, that's the random access memory. We talked about the hard drive, we'll get in a minute. We talked about the operating system, which is this. And we talked about the processor, which is this. So the first thing we did was to right-click on this. The second thing we'll do is to double-click on it. And it will show us the drive. There could be several drives that are here. If you right-click on this, it will give you the properties of whichever drive. In my case here, I have 237 in total capacity of this hard drive, or this solid state drive, excuse me. And I have used this, and I have this as balance. So that's how easy it is to get the specifications of the. So let me show you a very important technique that we will need to use for our assignment. The print screen. This, you have to look at your keyboard and try to locate a key which has this print screen. The print screen is to capture the screen. Anything anything that is seen on your on the screen of your computer, you can have a screenshot of it. A screenshot will mean to just capture it, and then it saves it as an image file, which you can paste on and paste anywhere. Microsoft Word, Paint, and all of that. So try to locate this. And I'm going to carry out an operation at the back where I will press this print screen and I will save the captured image that I'm now going to take to Microsoft Word. So this is how. Yeah, so watch what I'm going to do. I will go to here as we did earlier. I will right click on this because I want to find out the specification of the Windows system or the operating system, the RAM and all of that. And I go to properties. So I'm going to press now the print screen, and that's what I've just done. You're able to hear the noise. So what the screenshot that I have is already in the memory, and I've opened Microsoft Word. So if I right click and I say paste here, let's see, yes. So you can see it has pasted the screenshot that I had before. Let me change this layout to landscape, and let me expand this so that you can see the details of what the specifications are. You can see in greater, it can be more visible. I hope you're able to see this. So that's the same thing that we have seen. And this is what I will expect when you are doing your assignment to copy and paste on your Word document that you're going to send. So you have the basic information of the computer here. So that's it for this bit. From this short demo, I'm sure that you are now able to determine the specifications of your PC, especially the hard drive capacity, the processor, the operating system, and all and all. Now, Dr. Mike, I can see that you use the guide to determine those specifications of your wonderful, beautiful, maroon-colored Dell laptop. What did you find?
Yes, sir. I found out that the hard drive capacity of my laptop is 500 gigabytes.
500 gig HDD, yes.
Yes, sir. My memory, I found it to be 2 gigabytes.
Hey, Mike, no. You are a doctor, a world-renowned scholar, so your memory is more than 2 gigabytes. You're talking about the memory of your PC. By the way, the memory is the same as, say, the random access memory. When you say memory, you're actually referring to the random access memory, RAM, RAM for short. So Mike is telling us that the RAM of his machine is 2 gigabytes. Go on.
Yes, sir. The processor is the Intel Core i3.
Intel Core i3 processor,
while
yes.
The operating system is Windows 7.
Windows 7. Excellent. Well done.
So, sir, how about your system?
Well, I have a couple of them here. Now, let me begin with this one, this Lenovo. Now, this machine is driven by an Intel Core i7 processor. That's the fourth generation of Core i7. It has a hard drive capacity of 1 terabytes. That is
serious?
1,000 gigabytes, double your own, Mike. It has a RAM, that's a memory of 16 gigabytes. Recall that yours has 2, so 8 times. And the operating system is Windows 10 Professional. Now let me show you this machine, which is the one I love the most of all of them. Can you carry it?
Wow, this is quite light.
What about this?
It's heavier.
Yeah, it's heavier. Okay, fine. Now you see, this machine is a business machine. It's top of the range. IBM ThinkPad, the Lenovo ThinkPad. It's driven by an Intel, that's the processor.
Sir?
Intel Core i7, 4th generation also. It has, the operating system is Windows 10 Professional. What else do we need to know? It hasn't got HDD, it hasn't got a hard drive, but it has what we call the solid state drive, SSD. That is the new man in town. It has a 500 gigabyte SSD, which is 1 billion times better than.
Serious.
That's the kind of machine that that I use. So what else is there that you want to learn, Michael?
Sir, I would like you to talk to me about this we have by the laptop.
Okay, by the laptop.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we'll learn about this in a minute. So let us translate what we have learned to a practical situation. Now, this machine of mine, as you can see from here, because Michael was asking me, what do we have here? I'm going from right to left. Here we have a USB port for connecting USB devices, like your USB, your flash drive. Here you have the HDMI port. The HDMI port you can use to connect to television, to projector, and this is for connecting to a LAN, to a network internet. This one is the VGA port, if you are connecting to a projector, for instance. And this one is the power port, when I'm connecting power to this my machine. And this one here is where you have the cooling fan to cool temper, to cool the brain of this thing. Now if you turn over here, okay, here you have the port for taking a card, like a video card that you can put in there. On this other side, you have this tool for the earphone and for the microphone. And this is another USB port. This is another USB port. And of course, here you have the bay for the CD and DVD. So that's what we have here. Now, Michael, can you then tell me what you have on your machine?
I have here the.
I
have here the connection to the earpiece,
yes,
to the microphone.
Yes.
This is the USB port.
Yes.
This is the
HDMI
port.
Sure.
This is the
VGA
port, and this is the LAN, the
yes,
network
okay.
port.
Yeah, okay,
okay.
Yeah.
So we have on this side I have two USB ports.
Good.
And the DVD port.
Yes.
And finally the power port.
Power port.
Yes,
Very
sir.
nice. Now, let me show you something else. Look at this machine that I said I love so much. It has just one port for both the audio and the speaker here, for the speaker. So you just connect it here. You can take the two. Now I have just one USB port here, and I have an HDMI port. I have only one other port here for USB. So we have two USB ports here. So if I have 3 USB devices to connect, I can only connect 2. But that's not the disadvantage for me, because I have this, which sells for about 1,000 naira, that I can connect to this port here, and then it gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 additional USB ports.
That's nice.
That's very nice. Yeah, so that's how we get to this. So we expect that you should also check your laptop to find out which ports. We say port because that's the point where some other devices connect. So it's just like a port in Badagry, from Badagry, port where the boat, berths, where they stop. So when you're connecting devices to it, this is where they are anchored. That's what they're called, ports. So now we're done with the ports on your laptop. Dr. Mike, what's next? What's next for us?
Sir, I think we should talk about browsers.
Browsers, yes.
Yes, sir. And what are browsers?
Okay.
How many types do we have?
Yes. So let us answer Dr. Mike Ahove's questions. What are browsers? And how many types do we have?
So, okay, Mike, here we go with regard to browsers. People will say, I'm going to the cyber cafe to browse, or I'm browsing on my phone, or I'm browsing on my laptop. What are you browsing? You're actually browsing the internet, the World Wide Web. So the vehicle that you use to drive around the World Wide Web is the browser. So simply defined, we call it a web browser, browsing the World Wide Web, which we commonly refer to as browser. So it's some software that enables you to retrieve, present, and transfer information across the internet. Yeah, that's the primary purpose. They are also intended, they are also used to access information from web servers and private networks and the others. You asked about types of browsers. I tell you, I don't know how many there are, how many browsers, but there are, as you can see, there are very many of them. There's Firefox, there is Maxton, there's Google Chrome. But the major ones, in my view, are Firefox, Internet Explorer, which has yielded to Microsoft Edge, that's the Windows, the Google Chrome, the Opera, and the Safari. The question to ask is, which one will you use? It just depends on your choice. But what I try to do is to have have about 3 or 4 of these browsers available for my use at any time. So I've downloaded on my machine Firefox, Microsoft Edge, which comes with my Windows 10, downloaded Google Chrome, Opera, and Safari. So the choice is entirely yours. What works for you is what you should continue to use. And now we have been able to say what browsers are and the different types. So Dr. Mike, you asked the question, so what are browsers, and can you list 5 types of browsers?
Yes, browsers are tools for surfing the internet.
Surfing the internet, yes.
And I can remember about 5 of them.
Oh, good.
The Internet Explorer, the Chrome, the Safari, Maxton, and Firefox.
And Firefox. Wonderful. I'm proud of you, Dr. Mike. Now,
you, sir.
Any more thing to learn or share with our colleagues?
I think I'm satisfied.
You are satisfied?
Yes, sir.
Did you put it in your stomach? Thank you so very much. Now, from Mike and I, from Dr. Mike and I, it is